Starting lineup, Kaylee, Rengar, Yasuo, Vayne, Olaf, up against Camille, Yasuo, Irelia, Jhin, Vel'Koz. Rating of the picks for a casual game. Kaylee as a top 4, Rengar in the jungle 7, Yasuo in mid 9, Vayne in shooter 7, Camille as a top 9, Yasuo in the jungle 1, Irelia in mid 9, Jhin as a shooter 9, Vel'Koz in support 4. Yirinda's game, self-motivating affair, late night sweatbox, sauna level effort. We get this exciting clash between this competent French boy Yasuo player in the mid lane and this Camille who's going to come on down in search for a real matchup. Almost like a contradiction in terms when a lot of these high mastery players are incapable of bringing anything to the table. Let's get to it. Get this opening at the Drake at 5 minutes and 40 seconds in. You're gonna get all of Africa down the river, and it's unclear whether the presence of this inferior jungler, red team Yasuo player, really contributed to the cooperation at the jungle objective. But it's very unusual, especially in a casual game, to see this much energy around the Drake. You get to see that natural high auto attack damage on Olaf, immediately claiming the first kill. Throughout display, this high noon Yasuo, very experienced French boy, going to show off the fruits of pushing that sliding mobility to the limit. The constant dashes. One of the things that makes Yasuo a hard champion to play is that you really have to master the dash system in order to be able to interact with him in a winning manner. You get that stark contrast with the jungler Yasuo on the red team, just standing placidly still. They both got a really fancy skin and a lot of pretty colors going around, but one of them is playing like the average rookie, and the other one is an advanced player. The difference between learning a complex dance on the one hand and on the other just punching in a damage button. You get the scary, accurate assessment of this Kaylee player, this Camille player essentially just laughing at his top opponent, and pretty much just unheard of to come all the way down as a top laner in games at this level. This Camille player is very skillful, which explains the initial hardship of this encounter. Everybody's gonna end up leaving, going back to their positions, and then checking back in. You're gonna have this experienced French boy putting just the right amount into crit enhancement on this Yasuo, going to look at these 3 red team lovebirds like prey or food, and then conclude the triple kill by timing the ultimate perfectly, as of course the Tempest knocks Vel'Koz upwards. This German boy trying out Rengar. Rengar in a word, really, movement speed. Where Shaco has his illusions and his AoE, and Lee Sin has his quasi-teleportation, Rengar really has bursts of very high movement speed, in a word. It's an oversimplification, but it'll give you a good idea of who he is. He outruns people. Very low defensive stats, and so you end up falling, despite having me and Vayne as your escort. You're gonna have this Vayne player stand and fight with this Yasuo because I did. Perhaps a little bit of misplaced loyalty there, as this Vayne could have probably gotten away and was unnecessarily killed. Yasuo is bizarrely tough, perhaps as tough as anyone by nature, but people get notoriously bad items on him, and so your complete lack of good spending at the shop ends up making you an easy prey, an easy target for my Olaf. The wild brawl at about 18 minutes in, the Irelia ult not really inherently scary, but used at an incredibly scary time here, with a massive impact impeding all the pathways. You have this biological woman of a Vayne player getting very close, and initially rolling out safely. Chasing down this Irelia was not a safe move, and the whole team ends up paying the price. Yasuo's skill set can sometimes feel restrictive and difficult, and the skill of this blue team player French boy is strained, having to carry a tremendous amount of incoming AP damage from this Vel'Koz. This Camille, a bizarre champion that we do not see a lot of, but with a whole lot more potential than a Kaylee, especially in the top lane. You see time and time again the utter bewildering uselessness of this Kaylee, literally just standing there to fuel the enemy coffers. No mobility to close the gap, and no patient usage of these spells, nor really the item choices that would go along with good spell usage. Heavy AP or heavy cooldown. Instead, everything for this Kaylee goes into attack speed, like we're playing Jinx. This game fairly evenly matched, as it is effectively a 4-man team up against a 4-man team. The blue Kaylee and the red Yasuo being a non-factor. Fifth and final play, get that trigger-happy biological woman on the Vel'Koz machine. That ult, one of the highest damage per second moves in the game, but oh so disappointing if the enemy team gets a bunch of AP resist. Vel'Koz also one of those very misunderstood champs. Like so many things in League, just like with buying Thornmail and Koenig, there is really a very boring undertone to all of it, where the Vel'Koz game mechanic relies on you racking up little triangles of infection damage that count as a debuff to actually make use of your abilities, such as your ult, and you are, as a Vel'Koz player, supposed to stack those debuffs in a boring, gradual manner, rather than opening up all the cannons. Because we're not playing Grand Theft Auto, we're playing League of Legends, and many things are methodical and slow. It's a very mathematical, chess-like game, League. Eventually you're going to be able to enjoy the sight of this somewhat mentally challenged red Yasuo player, OD, getting himself lost in the middle of the jungle, spinning in circles. and you're going to end up with a lot of fireworks eventually in the bot lane as we hold out, something Olaf is very talented at. The burst damage this Camille does completely incomparable to this Irelia player, and there are times where you really have to believe that the best solution to mid would just be top. Because I'm a big Irelia lover, but when I look at some of these spells on her, I can do some second guessing. Taking a look at the synergy, we see Kaylee, Rengar, Yasuo, Vayne on Team Blue, which means you don't have a natural tank, and this really only works out because Yasuo is unintentionally tanky in the mid lane, and Olaf is very intentionally added because of his tankiness as a 5th slot. This is reckless behavior from the top laner Kaylee, and if it were up to her, we would all be glass cannons. Really one of those games where Olaf was make it or break it. You put in Lux here instead of Olaf, and this team does not have enough brawn to survive. I would say a B. Taking a look then at this team red, we see Camille, Yasuo, Irelia, Jhin, Vel'Koz. We'd have to say a low B. Irelia still has amazing base stats, and it's really the type of champion you want in the mid lane. This Camille has crazy potential. Jhin can work as a sniper. Of course, this Vel'Koz pick and this Yasuo pick are abysmal. Vel'Koz is in no way a support, and Yasuo is neither. The fact that Vel'Koz is technically accepted in support slot means that it's time for a punk revolution. Because there is no way those numbers make sense. The gap between Leona and Olaf is infinitely smaller than the gap between Leona and Vel'Koz. Taking a look then at these individuals, considering this Kaylee, Gwyn player, you made a bad pick and you got bad item choices. You tapped out right away, you clearly didn't stick to your opponent or your matchup, or you perhaps didn't have the combativeness to understand that you're supposed to stick to a matchup. A C. More on these item choices later. We're going to have this Ivan Berlin, German boy, on Rengar, with Voltaic Cyclosword and Hubris. Those are absolutely atrocious items. The items you want here on Rengar to start out when you're going up against these champions are 1. Serrated Dirk and 2. Thornmail. You got Ionian Boots in here as well. That doesn't work on Rengar because he gets his movement speed from his passive, not from his items. So that is just a waste. If anybody at any point wants to explain to me what on earth Voltaic Cyclosword is even supposed to do on champions like this, feel free, I have no idea whatsoever. In my opinion, Voltaic Cyclosword is an item that goes on maybe 2 champions. Rengar in this stage, definitely not one of them. You played very hard, you were a darling. I would say a very low A. We have this French boy, Exotique. Interesting to look at these item choices here. Very experienced Yasuo player, Berserker Greaves, Ruined King, Infinity, and then a bunch of armor penetration, Mortal Reminder. You went 11, 3, and 4. I do not believe that these items are completely optimal, but you have unbelievable rhythm on Yasuo. You are in no way a real casual. Head and neck above the others. Very good to see that experience pays off, and I did not really pay attention, but you are supposed to have some sort of silver rank with this level of skill. You were involved in fights all around the map. You went up and down the river trying to help out as much as possible. I would say an A. Really a game changer. We have this Valagan biological woman playing Vayne, going with Triforce, Berserker Greaves, Ruined King. That's too much attack speed. You went 2 and 5. You had a lot of patience and very little ego. I would say a B. A helpful player with a lot of stamina and a lot of patience. We have this Stomfangio, Camille player, going with bizarre, very uncommon items like Dead's Dance, Titanic Hydra, and Triforce on Camille. That is definitely not optimal and very bizarre. Going 14 and 4 and 2, I'd have to give this player an A. Next level, all over the map, one-man army. Camille is very strange to play, and we almost never see her. This is maybe the 3rd time that I've ever seen Camille. It seems like Camille is a champion who has to have a very high awareness of the walls and can do superior burst damage when she's able to trigger the wall mechanism and pays the price for that otherwise by having a troubled mana pool and awkward skills. I'm going to go ahead and guess that if you play like this, you didn't have too many losing games. Not really sure what this Camille and this Yasuo player on the blue team were doing in a hyper-casual game. I'm willing to bet that we will play many ranked games before we see player skill like that again. We have this OD 2024. You put Yasuo in the jungle. Jungle experimentation is encouraged. I myself am experimenting with Olaf. People are definitely way too uptight. The idea that it has been a fixation to accept Vel'Koz in 5th slot, for example, or to accept Mel in 5th slot, it shows you a dogmatic kind of cult thinking which I've not been shy about revealing all the way since the beginning of this channel. However, this kind of affair in the jungle cannot work on Yasuo. Here's why. Yasuo, the overpowered champion, who pays the price for his deranged natural base stats in the form of having to adhere to a very specific rhythm with a Steel Tempest and the building up of his combos. He is addicted to lanes because he relies on lane minions to build up his combinations that are eventually projected at the enemy team. When you are in the jungle, there are no lane minions and you cannot build up your combo. Other junglers such as Yi would have inherently a complete superiority in the jungle, because Yi, for example, does not need to combo off of lane minions. That is why this is an inherently broken experiment. You then also sabotaged in other ways. You did only 4,000 damage in total. You then also somehow obtained nearly 11,000 gold. And the only item you purchased was Yuntal. Yuntal costs around 3,000 gold. That means that you did not spend about 8,000 gold. That is sabotage. And when two acts of sabotage come together in the form of a Yasuo jungle on top of not spending money, you might consider this report worthy. Because you cannot do a better job of effing up the jungle position. A C, because you do not allow your teammates to play the game in a satisfactory manner, and you are kneecapping them, specifically this Camille. We have this seemingly Spanish boy going with Irelia in the mid lane, 3, 5, and 4 going with Kraken and Ruined King. Yeah, Irelia is a cooldown machine. This is a completely mistaken way to build Irelia. She's one of those champions where cooldown is king. Very rare, but it does exist, and Irelia is one of them. I would say a B. Non-eventful. Always good to see Irelia. We have this Jin player making a good pick, going 0 and 4. And here we see this cult element again. You're going with speed boots, and then with Yomu. We see this on every Jin. It's like completely backwards. Think about this logically for a moment. Jin has some of the longest range in the entire game, especially with his ultimate. When Jin pops his ultimate, he can send projectiles after any escaping enemy. Why on earth would Jin need demented movement speed? What on earth for? Makes literally no sense. We'll say a B because you didn't give up. We have this Morita abusively playing this Velcos in support slot, seemingly a Spanish woman, going 4, 6, and 4, going all out fanatically offensive. I'd say a very low B. I would love to say that you were sabotaging, but in reality, you seem to know a fair bit about Velcos by itself. It's not that easy to go up against me when I'm going full anti-AP. All in all, this was a delicious 4v4. The quality of the players here in this Camille and this Yasuo is remarkable. Got lots of love for this game, people acknowledging my contributions, and it's a self-motivating project. We keep going with it. I hear August 26th is when the third split will start. I wonder what the team will be. It hasn't been released yet. One thing I'll say about the third split is we'll probably be ready by then, and I'll try to spam a little more. Three, 10, and 1 for the Scaly. How to save the situation? Kaylee has low defenses. You put your money in Thornmail first. You have literally nothing to fear because this entire time, this jungler Yasuo OD player was occupying the bottom lane, and that makes this result of 3 and 10 clearly far worse than it would normally be, because you have zero pressure up there. Especially considering that there were long periods where this Tom Fangio on the red team just abandoned his lane and let you farm up. Nashor is really more for Kaisa, Katarina. We see it all the time on every champ. It's like the Ruined King for mages, but has poor synergy with Kaylee as a champ. Essentially, for what reason does everything go into attack speed here? As this Kaylee player, and also, why do you take the Grandmaster hat thing altogether bonus percentage item when you're not finished building yet? When it is very clear that the bonus percentage you get from the hat is calibrated on the total AP contributions. Moving on.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Urge to kill rising.
30 seconds until minions spawn. Minions have spawned.
Chop, chop.
First blood. An ally has been slain.
To plunder. Urge to kill rising.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
The might of lava approaches. To action!
An enemy has been slain. Ally has been slain. Has slain an enemy.
I'm going.
Enemy dragons.
To plunder. Urge to kill rising. plunder. Death by steel.
Turret plating will fall soon. Shut down.
To action!
Enemy rampage. Shut down.
Urge to kill. Right. The might of Lockfar approaches. To action!
Ally has been slain.
Plunder.
An ally has been slain. Ally has been slain.
I'm going. The might of Lockfar approaches.
Your turret has been destroyed. An enemy has been slain. Your team has destroyed a turret.
Urge to
An
kill.
ally has been slain.
To action! I'm going. under.
Your team has destroyed a turret. Your team has destroyed a turret. Your turret has been destroyed. Enemy rampage. An enemy has been slain. Enemy is unstoppable. An enemy has been slain. Enemy double kill. Enemy triple kill. Shut down. An ally has been slain. slain.
So predictable.
Unstoppable. An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain. Your team has destroyed an inhibitor. An enemy has been slain. Killing spree. Your team has destroyed a turret. Your team has destroyed a turret. Your ally has been slain. Rampage. Victory! Welcome to Summoner's Rift. 30 seconds until minions spawn. Minions have spawned.
Endure! Avoid the consequences of your actions. I bring the light's wrath! Running will make no difference. Opportunity rewards those who wait. The test of good manners is patience. He will still be wrong. I want you to do. Okay, Mr. Spot. Virtue. You and I will end this. Let go! A future flow is marked by precision. and quick. Precision is the only standard that matters. Only power I bring the light crash! The team is the most important. If life hasn't changed, where are you going? Running will make no difference. You will be where I want you to be.
Turret plating will soon fall.
Complacency breeds death. The test of good manners is patience. A festival is marked by precision. No strategic foresight. Only cowards run. Sharp blade quickens the work. Fear me! See my sister. Patience isn't a virtue. It is the virtue. Looks like I missed a spot. Precision is the only standard that matters. There are two sides to every issue. My side and your wrong side. Creating the dead is a habit.
Vengeance draws near!
Opportunity rewards those who wait. Reckless. Heal by fire. There is marked by precision. Strategic Running will make no difference. Stay where I want you to stay. Leave none alive! The trick is to be clever and quick.